माधव जय कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी
जय गिरिवरी वल्लभा जय गिरिवरारी जय यशोदनंदन जय व्रजरंजना जय यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्राये सुभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भ्रवति नैष्टिकी। जय श्रीमद् भागवत ग्रंथ की जय। जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीपाद महाराज की जय, वज्रपति स्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय।
ఓకే, శ్రీనాథన్ ప్రభు కొంచెం శ్లోక ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ పర్పట్ చదవరా.
హరే కృష్ణ. Today's verse is 6.18.44. इति संचिन्त्य भगवान् मारीचः कुरुनन्दन उवाच किञ्चित् कुपिता आत्मानं च विग्रह्यन्. Translation by His Divine Grace Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Kashyap Muni, thinking in this way, became somewhat angry. Condemning himself, O Maharaja Parikshit, descendant of Kuru, he spoke to Diti as follows. Verse 45. Sri Kashyapa uvacha putraste bhavita badre indrahadeva bandavaha samvatsaram vratamidam yadi anjo dharayisyasi. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kashyap Muni said, my dear gentle wife, if you follow my instructions regarding this vow for at least 1 year, you will surely get a son who will be able to kill Indra. However, if you deviate from this vow of following the Vaishnava principles, you will get a son who will be favorable to Indra. Purport. The word Indraha refers to an asura who is always eager to kill Indra. An enemy of Indra is naturally a friend to the asuras, but the word Indraha also refers to one who follows Indra or who is obedient to him. When one becomes a devotee of Indra, he is certainly a friend to the demigods. Thus the words Indra, Hadeva, Bandavaha are equivocal, for they say, your son will kill Indra, but he will be very friendly to the demigods. If a person actually become a friend of demigods, he certainly would not be able to kill Indra. Hare Krishna.
హరే కృష్ణ. దండవతున్నా. ఓం అజ్ఞానతిమిరాంధస్య జ్ఞానాంజన శలాకయ చక్షురున్మీలితం యేన తస్మై శ్రీ గురువే నమః. గురు మహారాజ్ శిలా శ్రీపాద్ కి జయ, జగద్గురు శిలా ప్రభుపాద్ కి జయ. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम जय, भागवत भक्त वृंद की जय। So we are going through important episode where Kashyapa Muni is implicated in the desires of his wife. So this is what happens, that women in general, they are known as very attached to the children. They are also known as very envious. So because of their attachment, too much attachment, and too much engrossing in the bodily conception, and advanced people, men supposed to be little more advanced in consciousness than women by their bodily design and their previous journey and previous lives. They are supposed to be more advanced, may not be completely free from these things, but at least more mature in controlling such thoughts or such urges. But if one accepts a wife just as wife gets 50% of the benefits of husband, similarly husband gets 50% of the reactions wife gets. That is a system of Vedic. The offenses of the servant, the reactions of the offenses of a servant goes to the master. The sins of dependent goes to the person who is depend on. So therefore one has to be very careful. So instead of being more advanced in consciousness, if they are unable to maintain themselves in a devotional path, in full service, continuing as a brahmachari or a monk, then they risk such situation as Kashyapa Muni is going through. Because marriage means is tied together. You cannot apart whenever you want. Once you get in, getting out is very difficult. So you have to live with all those lower propensities. And these have been described in the previous slokas. The nature of women, not all women, but it is seen in quite percentage. So therefore, a husband has to take responsibility, or will be implicated in whatever wife desires. So as great as Kashyapa Muni, he could not Lord Vishnu has personally killed the two demons, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, to protect Indra. This is a fact. The Lord always protects his servants. That is the duty of the master, to protect the servants who are surrendered and the devotees. So Indra, all the demigods headed by Indra, they are all direct servants in the service of the maintenance of this universe. So therefore, the Lord is always favorable to them, and it is not a partiality, because this offer is open to everybody. Anybody can become a devotee of the Lord. So therefore, there is no partiality, there is no discrimination. Right? Suppose you are doing some annadana karkramam, food distribution. So whoever walks in, you serve. So as long as entry is not restricted, the donation program, the food distribution program, it is not discriminating. Anybody can walk in. But we don't bring anybody by force to accept the food donation, food being distributed. It is up to the individuals. So similarly, the Lord is impartial in the sense that entry is not restricted to anybody. Anybody can enter the family of the Lord. Anybody can become a devotee of the Lord. The more one becomes the devotee of the Lord, the more one becomes fully dependent on the Lord, the more one cuts off all his other relations and only the relationship with the God, the more the Lord will be obliged to protect, and it is no partiality. Because it is open to anybody. It is open to Prahlad, it is open to Hiranyakashipu also. So he is equal to both. So therefore, the Lord is always inclined. And Lord has declared, Kaunteya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. Arjuna declared, my devotee will never perish. So that is a protection, guarantee that Lord gives. Whoever surrenders to him, he will protect. So therefore, it is mentioned, and all the avatars are mentioned in the second canto. Ete chamsa kalapumsha krishnastu bhagavan swayam. Indrari vyakulam loke mrudayanti yuge yuge. It is going on for many, many yugas since the creation. And in every creation, every time the universe are created, this is going on again and again. There are people who are devotees, thus free from enviousness. And there are people who are non-devotees. And they will be envious, mostly of devotees. So in the bodily conception, this enviousness is inevitable. Because one sees one's foundation of happiness is material resources, matter. So therefore, he sees others as a competitor. So as long as one is not grounded in the service, grounded in the pleasure of serving the Lord, the spirit of competition goes on. And we are all coming from that background, and it will continue until we purify ourselves fully. And that is our sadhana. How to not, at least not act. Right? At least the feelings, even if they come inside, at least not act. That is the minimum. To be called as a sadhana bhakta, practicing devotee. One should be very seriously battling these internal forces, internal demons. We must be battling, because that defines our material existence. They tie us to this world. So until we develop our pleasure in giving up these things for the pleasure of Krishna, then we can be called as not bound by the reactions of this work, reactions of this world, reactions of matter. So Indrari Vyakulam Loke, the purpose of the Lord coming is to the enemies, Indrari, those who are trying to be against the Indra and his cabinet, right? So the Lord comes to protect them in every yuga. So therefore, having known that Lord is protecting Indra, to desire a son who will be killing Indra, it is not at all devotional, not at all spiritual. So therefore, Kashyapa Muni expressed great sorrow that, alas, I have to be part of this program to kill Indra and his supporters. What a great misfortune. On one side, the Supreme Lord, on another side, his wife, who is treating him like God. Though he knows that he is being implicated, he had to accept, he has to oblige the desires of his wife. So that is the biggest problem in family life. There is compromise from both sides. Women, they have to compromise materially, and men has to compromise spiritually. Because women, they have a lot of desires, which husband will not be able to fulfill. So therefore, they have to compromise that, okay, my husband cannot fulfill all my desires, whatever he is, I should be happy. So because he cannot fulfill all the desires, when they desire something which he can do, which is spiritual degradation, the husband sometimes obliges to being degraded or be in a disadvantageous position. Like Kashyapa Muni is here. If Kashyapa Muni were Srila Prabhupada, he would have walked out, right? So when it has to be chosen between Vishnu and wife, right? Pure devotees, advanced devotees always choose Vishnu because the husband, it is husband duty to satisfy all the desires of the wife. So one cannot remain a husband and escape fulfilling the desires. So only way left out is cease to exist as a husband. So Srila Prabhupada just walked out of the house. So all of us know in Srila Prabhupada, Lilamrita. He was trying to tolerate, but one point comes that when his Srimad Bhagavatam, I don't remember exactly, but something like she traded some books, I think, for tea or I don't remember exactly. So Prabhupada gets very, this is it, let me walk out. So that's what a person who is transcendental, he just walks out any material relationship, any materially motivated relationship. Instead of acting against the will of the Lord, instead of acting against the desires of the Lord. So more intelligent are those who knows that this situation will come and don't enter into that realm. Otherwise, one will be inevitably implicated in such programs. As we see, Kashyapa Muni is implicated here. So we will be unwillingly have to do many things that we know it is not proper. It is not proper standard. So Kashyapa Muni became angry, but he cannot help himself. He cannot break, he cannot live. He cannot break out, he cannot live in the situation, because he could clearly see it is like joining the side of Hiranyakashipu in the fight between in the tussle between the Lord and his devotees, Lord devotees and the demons. So the desire to harm somebody who is protected by the Lord, it is also demoniac. To harm somebody who is actually, to harm anybody is demoniac. Even if they are making some harm, so one has to be titikshava, one has to tolerate and try to focus on the devotion, because if one goes to revenge mode, then his life will be wasted. Because when one is angry, you lose all discrimination and make all the wrong steps. So, so it is like, so one should try to tolerate so that he will not be hijacked from his path, because such anger, anguish, right, makes us make wrong steps. Like Arjuna, it is the nature of the passion, person in the passion, that they make vows in retaliation to against others, and they get into trouble. They deviate and they get into trouble. So Krishna would again and again say, why you Kshatriyas again and again make these vows? Vow to kill somebody, otherwise I will kill myself. Why do like this? What is the necessity? It is actually very, very unnecessary. So, but because of this passion, lack of devotional attitude or priority for devotion, one becomes victim of this vengeance. Devotee means forgiveness. It is in forgiving that we are forgiven. If you don't forgive the devotees, then the Lord won't forgive. Very simple. Right? If we are so hell-bent upon taking revenge, then why should not Lord be hell-bent upon punishing us for our mistakes? Right? So when we take too much to rules, then we will learn our lesson only through rules. So the Lord, if one is forgiving his offenses, the Lord will forgive offenses to himself. And other sinful activities. Actually, sinful activities is more easy to forgive for the Lord than the offenses. But still, if one is forgiving offenses to himself, then Lord will forgive that person. That is how bhakti works. When we forgive, especially his devotees, then we will make a special place in the heart of the Lord. That this person is forgiving him as a sign of love for me. I must do something special to this person. Otherwise, it is very, very pretty ordinary. Very, very ordinary. Somebody has done something wrong to us, and then we are very much thinking how to bring some disadvantage to that person. Exactly the same Diti is thinking here. Diti is thinking the children are the most dear, means the self alter ego. They feel, and that is the love of the mothers. They feel children even more than themselves about. So therefore, anyone who is trying to take revenge on the devotees, they undergo the same course as Diti is undergoing. They will be tricked because the Lord will not allow to take such revenges against his devotees, though they may make some mistakes. Yes, mistake is there. There is reason to take revenge. But there is more reason to forgive because of Lord Krishna. Because we are trying to be devotees. This shows the maturity in devotion. How much one is able to forgive others. So otherwise, it is very, very material. Bodily consciousness. So here, Diti wanted to kill, but nobody can kill who is protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, it is only illusion to think that I can punish somebody who is the devotee of the Lord, or I can take revenge. Because one doesn't know that Maya Dekshena Prakriti Sujate Sacharacharam, the very mind which we are thinking against the person, that mind is being operated by the Lord, is under the control of the Lord. The control is given to us, but it is acting and as a part of the nature, material nature. Everything is under the Lord's control. The control is given to us temporarily, but Lord can take control anytime. So just like here, we see in the Vrittasura's case also, instead of killing Indra, the pronunciation has become in such a way that he will be killed by Indra. See how it is a trick. So nobody can harm the devotee of the Lord. It is very foolish. Number one, it is unintelligent to think to bring some disadvantage to a devotee. And number two, to dare to bring such revenge upon the devotees. That means you don't care God, you don't care Krishna, right? If imagine we are brothers, right? One brother has done some little mistake, but we cannot dare to beat our brother before our parents, right? Because we will be immediately punished. So similarly, we cannot dare punishing the devotees of the Lord unless one is in a position to do so. So we have to be very, very careful. Otherwise, our devotional journey will be hijacked by these useless things. And that's how most of the devotees get distracted. Many things they get distracted, many material things to distract us. So when the gross deviations are minimized, then the subtle deviations, they also crop up more. Because still our nature has not spiritualized. We get influenced by this mode of passion. Mode of passion and ignorance, because this to take revenge like Diti, she is in ignorance of Krishna. So therefore, what is the way out? Kashyapa Muni is giving a way, a breath, where she could purify herself by becoming a devotee. Devotional process. Being pure. See, if you deviate from this vow following the Vaishnava principles, you will get a son who will be favorable to Indra. So he's giving a process, a breath, a vow, where she will be following Vaishnava principles. See, such people need a strong material incentive to follow Vaishnava principles. See, where we have degraded because of revenge. She, being the wife of Kashyapa Muni, is a great personality because of her being captivated by this material propensity. In order to achieve that, she was given again this Vaishnava principles. Vaishnava principles are somebody has kind to trick us, giving a material incentive to follow Vaishnavism. So again, the solution is also again following these vows in following the Vaishnava principles. So in due course of time, some enlightenment may be awakened. So, but because one is so obsessed in taking revenge, like Diti, she readily agreeing, right? In the first place, if she had devotion for Lord Krishna, for the Lord, so devotion means, what is devotion? For the pleasure of the Lord, for the feelings of the Lord, we are ready to sacrifice our feelings. This is bhakti. So in the first place, she is unable to sacrifice her enmity feelings towards Indra by putting devotion or the Lord, feelings of the Lord above my feelings. This is bhakti. Bhakti means to put my feelings above the feelings of, to put feelings of the Lord above my feelings and act in that direction. Same, to put feelings of the Sri Guru above my feelings, what I want, what I would like to do, what gives me pleasure, to control that and think what gives pleasure to Guru. And the same for the other senior Vaishnavas, to keep their pleasure and sacrifice my pleasure, because they have sacrificed a lot to bring me up, to put me in this situation. So devotional journey is all about sacrificing our feelings for the pleasure of higher Guru, Krishna and higher authorities. If one is not able to put oneself in that, then destiny is unknown, because mind is very, very tricky. It will degrade us in no time. In no time. See, just like she has degraded so much, she has disturbed her husband, right? Who is the first victim? Who is near to us, next to us, who are ready to help us? So she also corrupted Kashyapa Muni. Of course, he is not fully corrupted, but he has to oblige and accept her plan, revenge plan, how to take revenge. So he is also corrupt. Though internally he knows he's wrong, he's unable to do it. So he's also corrupt. So this is the result of association. So therefore, one has to learn to keep the pleasure of the Lord above my pleasure. And forgiving is such a great opportunity. Just like Krishna says now, such kind of opportunities rarely come. They open the doors to the spiritual world. Krishna says they open the doors to heaven. Right? This war for religious principles. They open doors to heaven. But the opportunity to forgive somebody, it opens door to the spiritual world. It opens door to Vaikuntha. It opens door to the Goloka Vrindavan. And by not being able to control our desire, our vengeance, we are losing such a great opportunity. Because this forgiveness is such a great quality that Lord gets attracted immediately. Special attention is given because it is not odd, it is extraordinary to forgive, but it is very, very normal to take revenge because it is normal in material world. So therefore, it is in forgiving that we are forgiven. And we have so many things to be forgiven from time immemorial, right? So many lives, so many births we have taken. So many things to be forgiven. We are still stuck here. We are not liberated. We are not in Vaikuntha. So many things to be forgiven. And the best way to attract forgiveness from the Lord is to forgive those who offend us. So I stop here. Any questions? Please come forward.
Hare Krishna Maharaj ji. Thank you for this wonderful class. Yeah, okay. If anyone is having any question, they can raise the hand and ask His Holiness Bhaktiswarupa Raswat Maharaj. Yes, Achit Kesha Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Dandavad.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Achit Kesha Prabhuji.
Dandavad.
Thank you for coming forward to ask question. But I am missing for many days. Our Balram Prabhuji is very, very silent, which is very, very a great transformation. So we would like to talk about. We would like to hear from Balram Prabhuji today if he is on the call at some point and know how he's doing. And okay, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Maharaj, I have two questions. The
Yes.
first one is that this you were describing in this, that even if we are offended and we should learn to forgive. Okay.
Yes.
So if suppose situation comes that this devotee, some between devotees, because we are devotees, so if we offense is going on regularly, one time, two time, and it is a natural habit of that he is offending, and then we talk. So it is required that we have to stay in association of such devotee, or we can change the place, because it's not required to take offense, take in the sense tolerate the offense, and means we have to continue, or we can change our place or whatever.
You mean if you are offended? You mean?
Yes. Suppose suppose offense means, yeah, means suppose I feel I am being offended by someone regularly.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah. So in that, then if you speak on this, then I'll tell another question.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. If you are regularly offended, then you have regular opportunity to impress upon the Lord. So
what you told, regular opportunity to
impress the Lord.
Okay.
So it's up to you. You want to take the opportunity to impress the Lord or not? How much capacity you have? You try your best as much as you can tolerate. But if it is that you are completely losing your composure and not able to continue your devotion and seva, then you can change, no problem. But otherwise, if it is small offenses, mostly related to our ego, then it is like some training for us. Take it as a training for the Lord, and maybe soon it may change. But if it becomes too much, one can change, no problem. Less. But if that is a seva given by Guru, now you have choice. Somebody is offending, so you have reason to leave, but you have more reason to continue because your spiritual master wants. So what is your priority? That defines your maturity and your dedication, your commitment, and your priority in your life. What is priority in your life? That also defines. So these are our self introspection. What is important for me in my life? So is it very important for me to live in an atmosphere where everybody appreciate me? Or of course, it is good if it is there, but if it is not there, which is the case, most of the cases, because we are all suffering from this material disease, wherever you are there, these problems will be there. So only little intensity, more or less, because the criticism is the highest material conditioning, criticism and offending others. So these are the lowest point of conditioned life, in which the Lord gets involved personally with the devotees, if it is offense to the devotees. So we should depend on the arrangement of the Lord. In due course of time, it will be all right, or you will learn to tolerate. So better not to run away, because ultimately we have to learn to tolerate. So therefore we cannot run away for that matter, because this whole world is like that. And we are also like that. We may be committing offense to others which we don't know. We should also try not to commit offense and try to learn to tolerate offenses. So that way our progress will be very, very fast. Otherwise we will be like just changing the job, changing the place, changing the authority, but we will not change. That is very, very unfortunate. So the highest priority should be that what Guru Maharaj wants from me. Like I also told one of our god brothers who was very restless going here and there. One time he came to serve. So I advised you, please meditate. What actually Guru Maharaj wants from you in this life? What seva Guru Maharaj wants from you? Never mind, Guru Maharaj did not tell you anything in his physical presence, but now you can meditate and come to some conclusion. What seva actually Guru Maharaj wants from you? If you really meditate, you will know. And you go there and you serve there for the rest of your life. Otherwise, this running around here and there is no end to it. Changing to this place, to that place, to that place. There is no end to this. So, one has to also think about the person, not just, okay, somebody is coming to help, let me take help. So, one should think on this Bhagavad culture. This is a bottom principle, is that the relationship between the disciple and spiritual master is epitome in Bhagavad culture. So, therefore, either when we serve or we take service, this principle should be always should be the supreme. I am here to help to increase the relationship between Guru and disciple. So, if I only think about what I need, that is also very material. Because of course I am doing seva to my Guru, but still I cannot be oblivious to the basic need, the basic principle of the Bhagavad culture. So we have to also think that, okay, so we have to think what actually pleases my Guru. So if one doesn't have this thinking, he will be hijacked by all these material propensities, lust, anger, greed. If you are not in this mode of what actually Guru wants from me, then we have our three enemies: lust, anger, greed. Lust, anger is enviousness. Greed, we become the enemies. They are our enemies, and they degrade us. We use our mind to degrade, right? By becoming victim to lust, anger, greed. So of these three, anger is the most dangerous. Most dangerous is anger, because in anger you don't know what do you do, what we do. It takes away all our discrimination power. So therefore, we have to think. This should be on our mind. If it is not on our mind, we are not devotee. We may be wearing tilak, we may be doing this, that. But if spiritual mastery is not on your mind, on top of your mind, what Guru Maharaj wants me to do in this life, what is my mission to Guru Maharaj? If it is not on the top of our mind, then something else will be on the top of our mind, lust, anger, or greed. So, but if we don't have that vigor, that commitment, and that loving relationship with Sri Guru, then they will very easily hijack, because they are hijacking us from time immemorial, right? Many crores of lives, lust, anger, greed, they are hijacking us, and still they are hijacking us, and we are just witnessing. We are just helplessly witnessing and becoming victim to them. So we have to raise above these three, especially anger. Guru Maharaj used to say again and again about anger. You would not tell so much about sense gratification. You will not tell so much about greed. But Guru Maharaj would tell again and again about the anger. So what motivating Diti here is anger only. Anger, enviousness, they are related, are similar. So best is to tolerate, or to take a break, take a 1 week break, go to Vrindavan, go to Mayapur. So you can take a break. Because imagine if we got married, we would be tolerating everything, right? Jitna bhi insult ho, we tolerate, right? In the house, wife, husband, there's so many insults are also there, and again they become one. How they're able to live together? Because they have a strong common interest. So similarly, we should have a strong common interest of serving Sri Guru. So if we don't keep that on the top, then a little difference, try to separate, try to go away, make little disturbance into a big storm. So you want to be instrument of storm maker or peacemaker or seva maker. So it is in our hand. If we are storm maker, we need attention, we need service. If you are a peacemaker or seva maker, then you give service to the Lord. So we have to carefully think about this, because it is still about myself only. Where is Guru Krishna? Everything I do is being determined by what I think, feel, and will and do. It is not called Narayana Parasarve or Narayana devotee. It is called one's own devotee. You have become your own devotee. So that doesn't help. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Maharaj, next question is that who, apart from Guru, who has right of, apart from...
Sorry?
Haribol, can you hear me?
Yes.
Apart from a spiritual master, who has right to offend?
What apart from spiritual master?
Apart from a spiritual master, who has the right to offend?
Who has the right to offend?
Chastise.
I think we have discussed enough number of times. No need to discuss again and again.
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you.
If one wants to follow, things are very, very clear. So many instructions are there. What is the use of discussing the same thing again and again?
Thank you. Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Yes, our Balramji is here. Hope his health is fine. Yes, Balramji, please.
Hare Krishna, Maharaji, Dandot Pranam.
Dhanavad Pranam, Balram Prabhuji, how are you?
Yeah, I had a little bit problem, but now everything is fine. Last 1 week, a lot of work
Okay, good.
is pending. That's why I was a little bit giving less time. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So anyway, I will ask some questions as you have pointed out.
Not only me, many devotees must be missing you.
Yeah. So the question is, let's say husband and wife attachment, that if it is good, then that leads to a lot of material benefits. And wife, I mean, it's recommended that wife should think that husband is a representative of God, and accordingly, she is strongly recommended to serve the husband. And in this case, I mean, when we take the analogy, why the people are bad from, let's say, worshipping demigods. So when we say, I mean, in other words, why then the women are asked to serve the husband? I mean, why not directly to serve Lord Krishna? And the
Very
other
good question.
yeah, the other question is, women always try to trick her husband, but why such I mean opposite activity is there in their nature? Or in other words, we can say why the women are lacking the, let's say, the good nature to have this understanding.
Okay, first question is a very good question. Demigod worship is discouraged, but worshiping of the husband is encouraged. Very nice question. Women serve their husband as a service to Krishna, not independent of Krishna. But demigod worship often is done as independent of the Lord, as an alternative to the Lord. If somebody is put under service of a demigod, then he can serve, worship the demigod. But others are not required to oblige the demigods. They can directly serve the Lord. Wife also directly serves the Lord under the guidance of the husband. Right? Spiritual master. We are serving Krishna under the guidance of spiritual master. So, spiritual master is also like a husband. So, in one sense, it is service to husband, but it is actually service to Krishna, because Krishna wants it. That because you two people are living together, you cannot be in two different directions, right? You have a small boat and there are two rowers. One is rowing in one direction, another is rowing in another direction. What will happen? The boat will be where it is, where it started forever. Right? If both of them row in one direction, it will move in though some angle may be there, but if you see the projection on the axis, it will be, the progress will be there, right? So therefore, in any setup of the Lord, there is hierarchy. Who should follow whom? So that the ship goes in a certain direction. Even if it is not in the perfect direction, it will make at least progress. Right? Otherwise, there will be disturbance and ship will sink, boat will sink. Right? So therefore, the Lord has defined very precisely who should follow whom, so that there is a collective effort. there is peace. Because otherwise nobody wants to follow anybody, right? Otherwise everybody will claim that they should be followed. So therefore Lord has put this. Those who are younger, they should follow the older. Right? This is our Vedic culture. You don't argue. Right? Even if you are right, you have to follow. That is the system. You don't argue. If you argue, you are taken as very uncultured person.
Yes.
Not worthy of living in the cultured society. Right? So, because we don't want to follow, there is no end to the arguments. Arguments keep propping up, and so therefore Krishna has put a culture that one person who is younger should follow the older. Servant should follow the master. Wife should follow the husband. Children should follow the parents. Younger brother should follow the older brother. They are so precisely defined, as much as close. Even if the twins, it is defined. One who comes out is the younger first. One who comes out first from the womb, he is the younger. One who comes out later, he is the older. So things are defined so precisely, so that we don't have no confusion. Right? So it is a norm, so that everybody knows who should follow whom. So at least the boat will go to some distance. There will be some peace. There will be some material dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Right? At least some progress will be there in these directions. Otherwise, there will be only chaos, which is called unwanted progeny. Those who are disobedient and not cultured, they are unwanted progeny. Right? In the Bhagavad Gita, we have read about unwanted progeny. So we don't like to be unwanted progeny, unwanted members of the society. So cultured member means obedience. So everywhere this hierarchy is there. So regarding demigods and husband, there is a difference, because demigod worship is an alternative to the Lord, but worshipping the husband is not an alternative to the Lord. In fact, it is service to the Lord.
Mhm. So why not directly to God instead of through husband or husband?
Then you don't get married. Don't stay in the same boat. Take another boat. Don't stay in one boat and row in different directions.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
In Vedic culture also, husband should be senior in age also. So that also puts naturally who should follow whom. So if you don't want to follow, then don't get married. Because when you are married, you are in the same boat. Then
Yes,
there should be a captain.
Yes, Maharaj. The other way is, let's say, some people, when they are older, even they want something from the younger for their sense gratification. That's also
No problem. No problem. Even if they are doing sense gratification, young has to oblige.
Yeah. Okay.
That is culture. Otherwise, uncultured, unwanted progeny.
Yes. Yes, Maharaj. The second question is, let's say, why the women are lacking such good qualities of.
They have a lot of good qualities, but
Yeah.
sometimes actually women are more religious than men, religiously inclined. It is said, but there this too much attachment. That doesn't go beyond that, because of their strong affection. Yeah, women are actually, if they take to devotion, it is more easy for a woman to become devotee easier. Like Kunti Maharani says, Katam Pashyamehi Striyaha. If one is in a subordinate, disadvantaged position, that is greatest advantage in devotion if one takes advantage of that. Right? It attracts the karuna of the Lord very easily. That, okay, I am woman, I am very helpless, Krishna help me. Krishna will be immediately jump and help. But Krishna has put a system I jump the system, then more tough to attract Krishna's karuna. So if we are Dena Bandhu, Krishna is called Dena Bandhu also now. So if one is in a disadvantaged position, if one is in a oppressed position, if one takes advantage of the position and makes prayer to the Krishna, then that is the greatest weapon to get free from the material existence, because Krishna is always inclined to those who are disadvantaged. But if we misuse that position has a great potential to attract the mercy of the Lord. But if that is in our hands, how we use it. So women in general are more religious, but they cannot make it to escape velocity. Men can make it to escape velocity, and women who are attached to husband, they can also make it to escape velocity. I hope you understand, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes, Maharaji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for. I hope you be very sound and healthy and enthusiastic. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Maharaji, there are 2 more questions. Shall we?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So one question is there in the chat. So it is like this. When one should not offend, how do you explore? On nowadays situation in Bengal, many of our Hindus gets hurt due to heavy population growth of due to heavy population growth of Muslims, facing many issues. So in that situation, so I understand, like, shall we oppose or shall we tolerate?
Is opposing tolerating is offense to one's own self, but not offense to others, or especially our dependents, and especially the devotees. So we should always try to tolerate, and the best course is to do the duty that is given to us. We Hindus, are we following our Hindu principles properly? Or we are just Hindus in the name only? Right? Are we at least reading Bhagavad Gita once in a week? Are we going to a Bhagavad Gita satsanga once in a week? So we have to also follow our religion very nicely, right? So, if we do our duty properly, then Krishna will do his part to subside, because these things are beyond our control. We have to see what is in our control, what is not in our control. So what is in our control, we should do it. That is doing our duty nicely, being a devotee of Krishna nicely. That is the number one. Am I a nice devotee? Number one. Number two, we can do whatever is in our capacity. You see, we cannot leave our duty and engage in something else bigger than what we are supposed to do. So, paradharma bhayahavaha. We have to see what is my duty. Is a duty of, if it is a duty of somebody else, if I take it up, it could be dangerous for me because I don't have the capacity or aptitude for that. So, yes, definitely we should try to, in a peaceful manner, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Even before Gandhi, long before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu organized civil disobedience movement. So, but we have to see whether that is what is that what is expected from you by Lord. So that one has to meditate, but one can support for such peaceful processions or requests or these things. Yeah, so first thing is we should be a nice devotee and preach this Bhagavad Gita. Because Hindus are not preaching, this Hindu population is reducing in India, unfortunately. Hindus are only just taking care of their families. No sacrifice for propagating Hindu tradition, especially Bhagavad Gita. So they should support this Krishna conscious movement, and they themselves become the preachers of Bhagavad Gita. That is the best defense. First, we should follow our religion nicely and also make others also follow, all Hindus follow what Krishna is asking. So that will also inspire the Lord to bring peace for practicing. Right? Otherwise, you see, India with so much diversity, how is it so peaceful than other countries? How we are able to coexist here in spite of so many differences? Because we all have natural tendency for spirituality. So as long as we do our duty in our Krishna consciousness, Krishna will provide a suitable environment or adjust it as soon as possible. And if you are in the position of a leader,